I'm good. I woke up yesterday. I'm ready, man. I've got controlled fury, and I'm ready to go. I'm absolutely ready to go. I don't go the other way. So, and the team won't either. We're on a mission, and we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves and wallow in everything. We had plays to make, we didn't make them. And it's a tight game, a good opponent, playoff type atmosphere, and you got to make that one extra play that we didn't. And so we will use this as fuel. I got pure octane right now. I woke up, I'm ready. So we're moving forward.
The best news for the Lions is
talk about confidence and coaching in front
of
the microphone, like Sirianni. Is that where you're going? Yeah.
That's kind of the difference between what we saw last segment and what we see now. Because here's the thing. It's a regular season game. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go bite somebody's kneecap. You can't afford to wallow in what happened when you still have more in front of you. And if anything, and Campbell alluded to this yesterday, it's a blessing. It's a way to make sure that when we're back in this occasion again, single elimination, we make that difference. We make that one extra play. We do that one extra thing because we know what it feels like when you don't and you lose. Now, the reason that he's upset is what looked like a stunning comeback because Mike McCarthy screwed up and allowed too much time to stay on the clock and gave the Lions the opportunity to drive down the field and score the touchdown. McCarthy's goose might already have been cooked if the Lions win that game. There's no reason they should have had 1 minute and 41 seconds to drive the length of the field.
7 shamrocks
and
up
put
his
themselves
ass
in a position
as of last Saturday
Unreal.
night.
So the focal point, obviously, though, is the 2-point play. And we're going to play Campbell from yesterday, but I think we got to set it up first. For anybody that missed it, you and I haven't had a chance to talk about it here. It was a big issue in the viewing room on Sunday. The events of the day superseded it. I had some reporting that there just wasn't time in the show for it. I talked about it and wrote about it yesterday. Here's the 2-point play. Looks great in the execution. Taylor Decker makes the catch. Celebration, Lions win. The problem is in the reporting as eligible. It's a very common device. There have been controversies about it in the past because the Patriots are very aggressive about what they do. But this is it. Freeze it right there. Freeze it right there. Can you freeze it right there? You had 3 different guys approaching Brad Allen. See this? This was not accidental. The Lions wanted to confuse the Cowboys.
Yes.
And the guy coming in from the sideline, Dan Skipper, number 70, he is their jumbo package tight end.
Right.
Against the Vikings, he reported as eligible 6 different times. Now, folks, and Lions fans, I ask you to try to be objective about this. I know you feel like you got screwed at the drive-thru in this one. But why is Dan Skipper going straight to Brad Allen if he's not reporting as eligible? Go to the huddle. Why are you running out there to Brad Allen? You're the guy who always comes in as the jumbo package tight end to report as eligible. Play it back, please. He's coming onto the field, not to the huddle. He is coming to Brad Allen. Why? Why is he doing that as Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker are going to Brad Allen? They wanted to play a shell game with the Cowboys
he was somewhat
confuse them.
He was also kind of sending in almost like little I'm eligible, like almost mannerisms to the referee as he was running. It looks like.
This is the key. Here's the key. The brushing of the jersey.
Yes.
And we don't see anybody brushing the jersey. And I'd love to see the angle coming from the other side. Is he using that right hand to brush the jersey as he comes in? Because Brad Allen clearly comes to the conclusion that Dan Skipper is the eligible receiver because he's coming to Brad Allen. There's no reason to go to Brad Allen. None whatsoever, unless Brad Allen owes him money and he's planning to collect it right then and there. There is no reason for him to go to Brad Allen unless he's reporting as eligible, folks. The Lions were playing a shell game with the Cowboys, and that's fine. But sometimes what happens, you fly a little too close to the sun on wings of pastrami, and they confused Brad Allen. In confusing the Cowboys, they confused Brad Allen. If they had just done one guy goes to Brad Allen, there's no confusion for the Cowboys. There's no confusion for the referee. They had 3 guys. And This is where I want to make it very clear. Because, and Dan Campbell's partially responsible for this confusion. Dan Campbell, after the game, I drew the play out. I showed them the play. They know this play. It's not about the play, Dan. It's about your setup to the play. Doesn't matter what the play is after they snap the ball. Did you sit down with the officials and say, hey, listen, I got an idea, and I just want you to know about it because you're going to kind of be in the middle of it. We're going to try to make them think that Dan Skipper's eligible, but he's not going to report. Taylor Decker's going to report. So when you see Dan Skipper coming to you, just ignore that. We're trying to make them think, because it's loud, it's chaotic. Maybe they'll get confused. So I want to take the opportunity at this pregame meeting with the officials to say, this is our ruse. Are you in on it with us? They didn't do that. Nobody's going to do that. Could you imagine if that's how it worked at a time when everybody is skeptical about the fix being in? Hey, Mr. Official, will you help me fool the other team? There's no freaking way they did that. This is where I fault Dan Campbell, and I love Dan Campbell. But when he gets upset about we drew up the play and we showed him the play, it's not about the play. It's about the setup to the play.
Yeah, it's the mechanics.
In confusing the Cowboys, you confused the referee, and now you got to just own it.
Right. And, again, Brad Allen and their crew, they study these teams. They realize that, like you said, 70 Skipper was eligible receiver 6 times the week before. Again, if we could show the play or the tape again, Skipper to me, and I haven't seen a better angle, looks like he's running on the field doing this, like the eligible thing. Brad Allen looks at him and points at him from a distance, almost like, oh, you're coming in as eligible, as the other 2 guys are there. Look, he is looking to his left right now at him. He sees the guy with his hands kind of by his numbers. He then goes, as he's getting close, and goes up to the defense to go, hey, 70 is eligible, right? So we obviously didn't get whatever Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker were also trying to say to him. Because of what you're saying, too. The mechanics are a little weird. The guy's running it in. He usually comes in and reports as eligible, so he sees it. He's got 2 other guys there also probably saying something. It's a big moment in the football game. So, yes, it's the mechanics leading up to the play that are the problem, all right? Now, go ahead.
And they deliberately did it. That's the thing.
Right.
They assumed the risk.
Yes.
You F around and you find out. They tried to create this to fool the Cowboys, and they successfully fooled the referee. That's it. That's all that happened.
Right.
And they need to just own it.
Now, what they need to stop doing is, I understand, right? Either way, whether 68 is eligible or not, it was an illegal formation. It's an illegal formation. So that's the first thing that some of the mouth breathers online need to stop. Whether 68 said he was eligible or not, or whoever went that down, the play doesn't count no matter what. It was an illegal formation. Skipper was announced as eligible, number 70. He was covered up by Penei Sewell. So he was an eligible receiver that was covered up. It was an illegal formation. It doesn't even matter. It does not even matter, really. So we have a lot of people arguing about something where I go, yeah, I don't really know what it matters, but there's also another mistake on the field. So that wipes out the mistake too. It doesn't really matter that way.
Well, but it all traces to the same thing.
It does. It all traces to the same thing.
Brad Allen, they say Brad Allen should have known that Taylor Decker was the one who was eligible, not Dan Skipper. And they show, it's almost like this Zapruder film of Brad Allen looking at and acknowledging Taylor Decker, and that's enough. You see, as they pass by, he looks to Taylor Decker, and
I don't think he really is.
Folks,
I think he's still looking at Skipper. I don't even think he's looking at Taylor Decker.
There's 70,000 people in the stadium, right? What is it, 70, 80,000? It's loud. It's chaotic. The Lions didn't have a timeout to call to set this up ahead of time. Stuff happens in this moment. It's human beings trying to process stuff quickly. And when you have your jumbo package tight end, Dan Skipper, who wears an ineligible number, running to the referee instead of running to the huddle, you are creating the impression for this officiating crew, as you said, that is very well aware that 70 is their jumbo package tight end, and he routinely reports as eligible. When that guy runs out to Brad Allen because you want to fool the Cowboys, and there's no way in hell Brad Allen is in on that, it fooled Brad Allen.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. And I know, Lions fans, I know it's been a long time. And it's, you say, act like you've been there before. We know you haven't been there in 60 years or 30 years. So we'll give you some leeway here. But please try to be objective. This is the thing that drives me crazy, Chris. What we see in the political realm, where people just hunker down in their camps and reality doesn't matter, it's crept into sports where it doesn't matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter what the truth is. We don't like the outcome, so the election was rigged. We don't like the outcome, so the referee's to blame. So somebody's on the take. The game is rigged. No, the Lions set this up. The Lions got what they deserved here because they tried to fool the Cowboys and successfully fooled the official.
Yes, right. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, and I think there's a broader point here to be had, right? The mechanics and how they did this to Brad Allen were wrong, and that confused Brad Allen to what you're saying, okay? Now, I want to be clear here because, I'm a big Dan Campbell fan as well, and I would do these type of things too if the way the rules they are the way right now. I would. You're trying to win a football game. I get it. I try to do it too. My other overarching point was these type of plays have to be out of football, right? This is not football. This is trickeration. This is manipulation of the rule book, right? This is not within the spirit of the game, in my opinion. It's a lot like Patriots-Ravens from a long time ago. Again, it's football all game long, and now we're going to get down there to one of the biggest plays. And hey, this guy that's a tackle is actually a tight end, and this guy that's a tight end is actually a tackle, and they're all wearing crazy numbers. And we're not going to play football now. We're just going to kind of try to trick you and screw up the whole rule book and your thought process and everything. And that to me is something that the rules committee needs to get in on. They do. Listen, if you want to have tackle-eligible plays or Dan Skipper, that's fine. But he's got to line up at a traditional tight end position, and you do it that way. And okay, because, teams want to bring in an extra lineman to run the ball and do that, that's fine. But when we're going into we're going to line guys up not in natural positions and move them around, and I'm eligible and I'm not eligible, and I was the tackle, but now I'm over here, and I'm the tight end, but now I'm going to play tackle, that is not football. The NFL needs to stop that crap.
And unless and until the NFL does, when somebody tries to pull something like that off and it fails, it would be easier for us in our jobs if the person responsible for it would admit that that's what they did. And that leads me to what Dan Campbell said yesterday, because he kind of admitted it, but it's still not as clear as I would like it to be. Here's Campbell from yesterday talking about the effort to confuse the Cowboys by having 3 different linemen approach referee Brad Allen.
If you're running a play like that, and 70 is your jumbo tight end, and they know that because that's what he does for you, and then you're going to decide you're going to make 68 eligible, and he walks over to the ref, and then the ref stands over 68 before you play, and they hold the ball, and they stand over and point at him. Do you think you're going to be able to throw the ball to 68? No. So it's about eligibility. That's what it's about. And it has nothing to do with the ref. The ref knows. He knows because 68 reported. It's for the defense so that they see 3 different people, and you're just hoping they happen to not hear that it's 70. That's all. Now, you saw what Hutch did last year here at Green Bay. They did the same thing to us, and Hutch picked it off, right? Antenna was up, just kind of, all right. He made a play. No, I had it on a piece of paper. Our play, what our players have. All I can do is talk through it. That's all I can do.
The play, not the setup to the play. See, the play, what our players have. Our players don't have the pre-snap dotted line of Dan Skipper coming out and approaching Brad Allen as Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell come from the other direction. he admitted it.
He did.
Right there.
He did
They
admit
were
it.
trying to confuse the defense.
Right.
And he assumes that Brad Allen heard Taylor Decker say, I'm eligible, and that Brad Allen ignored the fact that the guy who's always reporting as eligible, who ran right for him, was not actually in that situation reporting as eligible. So you got to factor this in. If you're going to get cute, and they got cute here, you got to factor in the possibility that you're going to get too cute, and it's going to be too effective. And then when the shit hits the fan on the back end, and you and I both love Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
But I really wish he would have said, folks, here's what happened. We were trying to confuse the Cowboys, and in the process, it's loud, it's chaotic. You know, Brad Allen thought it was 70, and I can understand why he thought it was 70. I wish that he would say that.
Well, you know, he tried to, I don't want to say take the total high road, but at least explain it a little bit, right? And he at least showed that it was confusing. You know, I hear you there. I wish he'd kind of own it too, right? And I think the biggest thing too is just that 70 running at the ref was the biggest issue there, right? 70 running at the ref was really the one that confused the thing. 70, Brad Allen, he watches film of this stuff. He's going, oh, hey, here comes 70 running at me. Looks like, again, he's making some sort of gesture. Maybe he's not. Maybe he was just holding his belly. But again, I think it was doing it in the intent to deceive, to kind of do that, right? Don't run at Brad Allen at all if you're just going to be an ineligible guy. Don't run at him all. Just go run to the huddle, right? So to me, that is outside the spirit of football, and that's where I don't like that. Again, we're gonna play. I'd have been. You know, I just don't love those plays. I don't. You know, we know who tight ends and tackles are. Let's play the game straight up and play it the way it's meant to play. Let's not get to the biggest moments of the game and go, oh, we screwed them and fooled them and tricked the refs and tricked the rule book and did all this. That I don't love. And again, I'll be clear here. If I was a head coach, I'd probably dabble in some of those activities as well. I understand that.
But if it blows up on you, you got to own it.
Yes,
and I think plain and simple,
yeah.
I think Chris, at some level, Campbell knows that to the extent that the idea that they got screwed in this game gives them a little lift, gives them that octane, gets the fan base engaged.
Agreed.
Why should I say it's my fault?
Yeah.
I have my Florio said the 49ers are going to kick the shit out of the Ravens moment. I have my hit piece on Sean McDermott moment. I have my thing. Even though it really is his own fault, I'm going to take it and run with it.
Yeah. No, you said that right. The Ravens got to find something that motivates them for the playoffs here, or whatever it is, that chip on their shoulder. Yeah. I wrote that down before the segment, saying that this is – the Lions have kind of, even though, yeah, they're going to feel like they got screwed over in the game, and I think they screwed over themselves, they're going to rally around, no, we got screwed over, and let's you know, everybody's against us, and Dan Campbell is going to use that. And I think that will be some fuel and some motivation here for them going into the playoffs.
I don't want to be in the habit of ignoring Courtney. It's 2024, so I'm trying to be better about taking direction. I just want to mention this now because I want to clear the decks and move on. There was a tripping call on that Cowboys drive that was called on the Cowboys. It was actually the Lions. So to the extent, folks, that you think the NFL is out to get the Lions, the explanation is always incompetence. 99.9% of the time, it's incompetence. It's not they're out to get you. They're not good enough to pull that off if they're out to get you. So that balances this idea that the NFL wanted the Cowboys to win. They would have called tripping on the guy who tripped if they wanted the Cowboys to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. It's human mistakes. Human errors happen. We see that. It's been happening for a long, long time in the NFL. It's not perfect. We know that. But, yeah, there's at least another something there to maybe calm the waters a little bit as far as Detroit to go, hey, you got over on one here too. No, I know. They don't want to hear that.
But, see, when we're in our red and blue camps, we embrace everything that bolsters our view of the way the world is or should be, and we ignore anything that punctures it. So, not listening when we point out that the Lions benefited from the incompetence of Brad Allen's crew. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.